it's just broke.
We are hanging with Endless Summer, Bob and Clint Moffat. Guys, thanks so much for doing
Thanks
this.
for having us, man.
They just hammered out another Mason Jar session for us, and this one, it has a really cool, funky feel to it. I think everybody's going to love it. Maybe let's talk about, you guys have done a bunch of acoustic stuff lately. You're working on a new album. Is the new album acoustic, or is it kind of a little bit of everything?
Well, there's going to be some of that. We actually just went in the studio. We cut a little bit differently than we normally do. We both sing around one mic.
Okay.
And so it's a little bit more of the, kind of how we perform when we do our Facebook Lives and stuff like that, and trying to get it as good sonically as we can. But it's really about experimenting, because, trying to get what we do live on tape is always a difficult thing. It's, once you put a band on it, it changes the dynamic, and there's so many elements. So it's a tedious process, and we're going to have the patience to sort of wait until we find it.
Make sure you know what you want.
Yeah.
Because you guys are veterans at this. This isn't like...
We're old guys.
Yeah, I think we talked about this previously. This isn't your first rodeo. You guys have been to the ballpark a few times. What's it feel like this time around, though? Like as different as just being the two of you?
Well, I think it's more attention on the two of us.
Yeah, I feel like there's four of us, so it was like there was a lot to look at, so we didn't feel like everybody was always just looking at the two of us,
Sure.
But no, I feel like, we're really taking it in. I feel like the years that we were in the Moff, it really ran by really quickly. We were doing so much. We traveled the world 3 times in like a year. So it was like 50, 60 countries a year for 3 years straight. And so a lot of that's a blur. We Clint and I remember a lot of it, many great moments, but I feel like everything we're doing right now, we're really soaking it in and enjoying it to the highest possible level you can.
The current single is Amen for Women.
Yep.
It's at country radio right now, getting some great exposure. How does it feel to get that kind of out there now, for you guys?
It's always nice to get outside of the studio for us, because when we first moved back to Nashville, we were really focused on writing and recording. That was kind of what we just wanted to do. The idea, even just being a duo, going out there and performing was not, we didn't even really think about it. We just wanted to get better as writers and put ourselves in the room with some really great writers and learn from them. And we were able to do that over the last few years. And now it's nice to sort of take a break from that and actually get responses, because all we know is what we know. And then you get out there and everybody kind of goes, well, that really sucks. Then you kind of go, okay, back to square one.
Yeah, that's not where we wanted to go. But, okay, so, you said you spent that time harnessing or really cultivating your writing skills. In Nashville. You guys are living in Nashville. It's a full-time gig for you guys. This isn't, let's go and release something.
Yeah.
This is it. What's it feel like being down in Nashville and getting a chance to write with some absolutely phenomenal songwriters?
I think it's one of our favorite things to do. Nashville, you're kind of a little fish in a big pond there, when you first get there. And it takes, a lot of people that get there and they think it's going to be, hey, I'm going to get cuts and I'm going to, and sometimes it does happen, But for the most part, you really have to sink your teeth in, and you spend a lot of time there. And some of the greatest songwriters right now today, some of the biggest songwriters, it took them 10, 12 years to get their first cut. And so I think that with Nashville, there's so many great writers there. It can be extremely intimidating, but you can only really rise and get better as a writer if you surround yourself with better writers than yourself.
But you have written some songs and gotten cuts for other artists.
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, Johnny Reed?
No, not Johnny Reed.
Reed.
Johnny did say the last time we were we saw him, he said he was going to get a cup of tea with us, and he hasn't called us. So we're
still waiting on that.
If he watches your show, maybe he'll do
so, but you have written for other artists, and
the TV show Nashville.
I was just going to say. So, and also Nashville, which is back on the air again through Netflix. So, what's that feel like? Getting that, those cuts on a show like that.
It was really cool. All 3 songs we had on the show were sung by different people on the show, and we were always kind of followed the Lennon and Maisie, the Stella sisters.
Yeah, Stella's.
Because we actually have known their parents when we first moved to Nashville. We would hang over at Tebe's house, and they were always over there.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know they had kids, you know. But then we found out, and we were like, wow, they're really great. We would love to have them sing on one of our songs, and it ended up happening. And they did a great job. It sounded really great, and it's similar. It's that sibling harmony, you know. So
Yeah.
they really knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, I had a chance to talk with those two back at Boots and Hearts
Yeah.
2 years ago, and like you said, like just really great people. I
Yeah.
mean, the whole family's amazing
Mhm.
from Whitby, Ontario, so you know, close to here.
Mhm.
Let's talk a bit about back home for you guys, which is born and raised in BC. What does that maybe bring to your writing style, or does it? You know, growing up in that sort of
Coast.
environment.
Well, we've always been really laid back. I mean, you know, even with the brothers, I would say Clint and I have always been extremely mellow, extremely chill guys. And so, yeah, being on the coast, and then also, you know, we spent 2 years on the beaches in Thailand. And so, you know, for writing style, I mean, I'm not sure if I can really pinpoint, you know, where that came from, but I feel like everything's played into it, you know.
I think that the fact that we do two-part throughout, that influences what we write as well for ourselves.
Sure.
You know, I think that melodically, we usually try to find something that feels good from start to finish, even though we don't do it from start to finish all the time. We like to kind of find melody lines that work two-part, and that kind of dictates a lot of the time where we're going to go with it.
Sure. Social media, you guys have a huge following on Facebook. You've built that obviously over the years. Maybe tell us what it's like when you log on and you guys decide to do something like a Facebook Live, and all of a sudden there's like 500,000 people.
We were just talking
watching,
about that.
like-
That you know, when we first started this page, I think we started it. When did we start that page? It
We
was
started it 5 months ago.
5 months
4
ago, and
months ago.
you know, we had a page before that, but we did our first Facebook Live. I think there was maybe like maybe 10 people that came on to watch us, and they were like the diehards. You know, they
Yeah.
knew every move we made on Facebook, and they were there. You know, and now we go on and you know we get a lot more. But it's been a process. It's been a lot of you know, social media is like, you know, you have to put in the time, right?
Totally.
And it's like another part of the industry. You know, you really have to put the time in.
It's so funny. A lot of people think you just post once, post to Facebook, post to Twitter, and everybody's going to see it. It doesn't necessarily work like that.
That'd be nice,
Sometimes
though,
that
wouldn't
seems,
it?
oh, wouldn't it? Sometimes, you know, it takes you to post that song 8, 10, 12 times to Twitter or something like that before it catches at the right time, you know, and stuff like that. Best industry advice that you guys have received over the years?
You know, that's a really good question.
Michael Martin Murphy.
That was at a very young age. He basically said, if you love your fans, they'll love you back. And now we were really little guys, and he took that upon himself to kind of share that with us. And
It's so easy
always-
especially you know now that we all have a voice, right? Where social media's changed the world in a lot of ways. A lot of positive things have come from it, but you know now it can become very self-serving too, because we all have our voice. We all want to say something and be heard, and it's easy to get carried away with success, and it's easy to get carried away with a lot of different things. And I think that there's been a lot of people in our lives, including our dad and our mom, who have, you know, kept us, hey, you know, it's just, you know, you guys got into it to make the music. That's what it's about, you know. And the other stuff, you know, it's nice. It's, you know, the thing about it is, it's really nice when people like what you do. It's if you put songs out there and people don't resonate with it, you know, because we've seen that too, where that's happened to us, and it's not like the best feeling in the world. And it's always better when people are giving you little hearts on Facebook.
Totally.
But you know, it's also, you know, you just have to, you know, you don't make music to make that happen. You just stay true to yourself, and eventually, there's 6 or 7 billion people on this planet. You will find your audience.
Yeah.
You just have to be patient for it, and they'll be there.
Now, your overseas success is, and I don't mean to be rude, it astounds me.
Oh, overseas.
Yeah, you know, like, and you know, I know you guys have just announced a show in Manila.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's pretty big.
Pretty
yeah.
great.
You know, for you guys to get back over there and play a venue, and if I'm not mistaken, Scott's going to join you guys on that.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us how that all came about and how that's.
Well, you know, I mean, I think that we had basically somebody reached out to us on Facebook and said, hey, you know, we'd love you to come over here and do a show. And we had, you know, we had talked about, you know, just the brothers, like, would we ever consider doing something like that? We always said, you know, maybe in the future, maybe at some point, you never know. But anyways, it sparked an idea, and we just hooked up with our promoter over there, and next thing you know, the venue's booked, tickets are selling, and you know, we're kind of treating it like, you know, Asia, Southeast Asia was always a very huge market for us, as was Canada and Europe as well.